Chapter 15. Facets of Soul. I asked my father why it was that nearly all references to deity exclude gender. The ensayo of Estoliana and the words of Zacharias are very clear that deity is female. But after that there are very few references to gender. I think I frustrated him by having trouble grasping the significance of his response. He told me that, despite the deeply significant differences in gender, here in the leadership of Estolia, it is, nevertheless, immaterial that deity is female. You are, after all, no more or less capable, intelligent, or worthy based upon your gender. It is best to always focus on what makes you unique and capable, and that has nothing to do with your body and everything to do with yourself and soul. Emerald Zacharian, in Scrito. Zacharian opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was his parents, looking haggard and drawn. He had never once thought of his father or mother as old, but they certainly looked like they had aged a tremendous amount since he last saw them. When was that? Where was he? Next, Mari and Key were there by his side. He wanted to demand an explanation, but when he opened his mouth, nothing but a subdued croak came out. Mari had a square of absorbent fabric, felted from a combination of the fine wool of lambs and the seed fuzz of Tarsus weed. She dipped the fabric in a cup. While the pale amber-colored liquid slowly saturated the square of felt, Zacharian began to crave the beverage with an intensity he could never remember feeling. "It is Mayberry blossom tea," Mari said. "It is mild and flavored with honey and sweetgrass seed." Warm feminine hands supported his head and helped him to suckle on the square of fabric. He wondered why they did not just allow him to drink from the cup. The warm hands holding him were not his mother's. Who was it? But his thirst was so extreme that he could focus on nothing until he slaked it. "You have been very ill," Mari said. "You must drink slowly or you will vomit and be more starved of liquid than before." It was good advice. What exactly happened? His voice was hoarse and barely recognizable. Several pillows were pushed under his head and shoulders. A woman entered his field of vision. She was blurry. Was his illness coming back? "What is it?" Amador asked him, speaking in Estolian. They had been speaking Palmaran. Zacharian answered, "I do not wish to alarm anyone, brother, but I am seeing double images." "Right now?" Amador asked him. Zacharian shook his head slightly. His brother was not blurry. He looked back at Estolia. She was still out of focus, alluring, arousing. "When I look at this woman, it is as if I see her thrice at once. But it is only her. Why should my illness make her, and only her, blurry to me? Tomorrow, my brother, is the eve of your birthday. Can you think of a reason that a woman might appear so strange to you? The aura. Of course. It was nothing like the aura of his mother, which his father described as a golden shimmering glow. But now that he knew what he was seeing, he had no doubts. "Where am I?" Zacharian glanced around. They were in a tent. Amador answered him in Palmaran. "When the Dia de Promesa docked at Pirate's End, Estolia warned us that your illness was accelerating, and worried that if we insisted on traveling to the palace, you might die. We diverted to the Spirit Grove and established a camp. We have been tending you for the last 5 days. Estolia said that you would wake on this day. She is a gifted healer." Zacharian looked at the woman he'd rescued from Azitharafin. This was the woman who would keep his soul. His Kaylee, his everything. As the implications sank in, the aura, shimmering like a dozen images out of focus, began to change before his eyes. Each of the images swelled to the size of the largest, until there was only one slightly larger transparent image overlapping her. It began to shrink until it settled over her, like the waters of the purple river would coat a lamb wading across it for the first time. And then the extra image was gone, leaving only this beautiful, extraordinary woman. "Will you be mine?" He blurted out, stumbling over the words he didn't even know that he knew. She looked from Sebastian to Amador before her beautiful eyes returned to his, acceptance shining within.